Carlos Luna, CEO, New Rain Capital. Happy New Year, 2025. So, 2025, what is the number one goal? I know you have a lot on your vision board, but if disregard everything on there, but keep one. What's that goal?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a little bit off the beaten path. My hope is to be able to reimagine, reinvent the way that I deliver information to the industry. So, certainly we live in the age of information, in the era of content. And so I've done public speaking for, 20, 25 years of my career. And so I really need to educate myself, engage in a different method through podcasts. So I've decided to launch a podcast called Live, Lead, Legacy this year. In fact, we're in the process of booking out talent for the next 6 months, and I'm really excited about it. But ultimately, that's going to require me to re-educate myself in terms of how to best engage an audience virtually as opposed to in person, which I've done, for many years. That'll be fun. It'll be equal parts entertainment for me, as well as enrichment, because I've never really done it at this level. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be my top priority for 2025.
Awesome. So, one, so I've interviewed several people today, and one consistent theme has been the same as it was with my son. When I asked my son, what's your goal for 2025? He said, I want to get better at golf. Like, okay, well, that's great, but it's a bad goal because it's not measurable. So if you keep it generic like that, then you become a January gym rat where, everybody wants to get thin. That's their New Year's resolution. So they go to the gym in January, but they don't come back in February. So is there something measurable that would show that you have successfully evolved the way you are communicating messages? Is it 100 episodes? Is it, a website, or, you create a logo? Like, what is the measurable goal to where it shows you if you accomplished your goal or not, rather than, I want to evolve the way I talk to people. Okay, well, how do you decide that you've done that? An objective way, not a subjective.
Yeah, I would say there are a couple of measurable elements that I think you can tie to this particular goal. First is certainly the amount of content that you put out. My initial goal is to put out at least a couple of episodes per month at 12 months, 24 episodes for the year. That's the baseline. I imagine that we'll probably exceed that as we become more proficient throughout the year. If I can get to 36 episodes for 2025, I'll be ecstatic. Bare minimum, 24 episodes. The other thing that I'm
going for 100, so you know.
Hey, that's great. That's wonderful. I'm going for quality. I'm kidding. The other measurable goal, I think, is the amount of viewers. So this is part of the reimagining, reinventing. When you're at a conference, everybody's already there, right? They're already in the seats, already paid for the registration. You have a captive audience. Whereas in the podcast world, you really have to create that audience. You have to bring it up from scratch. And so I would be really ecstatic if I can get to, let's just say 2,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel, right? It's going to give me a sense that there is a, number one, demand for the content that we're putting out. And number two, that we're creating content that is engaging enough for people to actually stay engaged, to want to follow, to want to like what you're doing. So that would be the second measurable goal that I would tie to it. Of course, along the way, you're going to come up with other elements that you're going to say, you know what, this is going to be something that we really need to become more efficient. The time producing an episode, right? So our team has to produce an episode in X amount of hours. I don't know what that looks like right now. This is a new venture for us. But another measurable goal could be, if we started X in January, by June, we want to be at X minus, right? In order to determine whether or not we're being more efficient with our time, with our resources, etc. So I'm sure that we'll find other measurable, specific elements that will tie to the goal. But in a nutshell, I think that in order for us to continue to be successful at what we do, not only in our vertical, but really expand our footprint beyond the vertical of insurance, we have to continue to reimagine ourselves, reinvent ourselves. And while the mainstream may already be operating in this practice, in this discipline, the discipline of podcast creation, I would say, in our sphere, in our fiefdom, so to speak, it hasn't been done. And if it hasn't been done well, right? So we really need to elevate the bar for that. And I feel like this is an opportunity. It's a great challenge to do that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So another thing that I told my son is that a lot of times when people make goals, they write it down at the beginning of the year, they do a vision board, and they never look at it, they never revisit it throughout the year. So to make sure that you stick to your goals, come up with a slogan or a mindset that you want to have. It doesn't have to be some original thought. It's, hey, what sort of mindset do you want to have for the year? And so like what I did is I changed my alarm on my phone to a recording of myself, and it says, Zach, get your ass out of bed, let's effing go. Because my slogan for the year is LFG, let's effing go. Yeah, I want this year to be a year of action. I don't want to talk about things anymore. I don't want to meet on things anymore. I don't want to prep. I don't want to plan. I just want to do action, 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 do things responsibly, obviously, but I want to see physical progress in things rather than preparation. Is there a mentality or a mindset or a slogan that resonates with you that would put you in the right frame of mind to accomplish your 24 to 36 episodes this year?
Yeah, I would say not so much a slogan, but more so mentality. And that is, I need to return to loving learning. I need to dive into understanding that I don't have all the answers and embracing that.
So learning something new in the podcast realm every day or every week, or
yeah, so not just in the production of a podcast, but the elements that you're actually talking about in the podcast, right?
okay, that makes sense.
Having been an industry leader for a number of years, you tend to hit a stride, so to speak, where there aren't a lot of topics that you would say, I'm stumped, or I don't know anything about that. Now, a little bit about a lot of things, right? As you navigate our sphere, but that really puts you in a place of complacency, right? So when you put your mindset in a place where you need to learn, where you want to learn, I think that at that point, the ceiling for you for success just goes all the higher, because you're embracing the journey of not knowing it all, right? And that's really the mindset that I would love to come back to on a regular basis as we venture out into this new world.
Yeah, that's a good one, like a curious mindset, and even a humble one, right? That, hey, I know a little bit about everything, but I don't know a lot about anything. And to dig deeper and, almost submit that, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Guest, you're the expert. Teach me. I want to know. I'm all ears. Teach me about what you got going on or what you do on a daily basis. So I love that, and I second that as well. I'm extremely curious. I want to know stuff that I don't know. Right? That's like my the juju juice that gets me going is when I learn something new. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
It's easy to say that, but when you actually are in the process of developing something new, oftentimes you limit yourself, your potential, because you only rely on the things that you know, right? And that sense of curiosity, that motivation to be curious really limits what you can ultimately do. We don't know what we don't know. So understandably, I understand that it's going to be something that I have to do intentionally, that I have to really apply myself to, because Lord knows humility is not a strong suit of mine. And that's okay, right? So really learning to come back, dial it back, Let's be the curious kid in the class again, and let's ask the questions that maybe before we've been too proud to ask. So I'm excited for that 2025.
Well, I mean, being humble is not always helpless. So I think you're a humble dude. I mean, you're genuine, and you're not braggadocious in any way. I mean, maybe when the camera's off and it's just a guy, we're just shooting the shit. But I think you're pretty humble. I think just adding that element of curiosity will fit right in.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I'm expecting great things from Live, Lead, Legacy. I'm expecting great things from New Rain Capital. And certainly I'm expecting great things from Strong Likable. Yes, I love it.
Where can people find the Live, Lead, Legacy podcast if they want to see?
People can search us on YouTube. They can search us on Spotify. Certainly we'll be available on the New Rain Capital website, newraincap.com. And of course, we'll be posting shorts throughout all of the major social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc.
Awesome, man. Well, Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And, I got your back to help you accomplish whatever goals that you set.
Thanks, brother. Happy New Year. Let's go.